Thank you for joining us on this edition of the program, Platform. On Platform, we normally bring guests who talk about their institutions or what they're doing. And Plateau State will be privileged in the coming days to host one of the biggest events of professionals in the built environment. And we are privileged to have here the president, who happens to also be from here in Plateau State. My name is Yakubu Tade, and we have with us in the studio the president of the Nigerian Institute of Building, in the person of Builder Professor Johanna Izak. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Well, let us look at your people coming here, the size of what size of number of people we're looking at, professionals coming to Plateau State.
Well, thank you very much. TINCITY 2023, as you have judged it, is going to be a gathering of builders from all across Nigeria. By builders, I mean registered professional builders. We also have corporate category, people who are aspiring to become licensed builders. We also have students who are studying building in various universities and polytechnics. And so on the whole, we are looking at close to 2,000 participants in TINCITY 2023. By the grace of God, we are starting from Monday next week.
Okay, sir. Well, let's clarify and break it down, because somebody will think everybody builds, everybody who is here is a builder. So who is a builder? Because if the medicine is there, everybody will just call himself a builder.
Well, building is a profession. Well, I will not have time, but you know, it has its parent body as far back as 1834. That is called the Builders Society in London. And by 1865 or so, I think they changed the name to Institute of Building. In 1980, they got a royal charter in the UK, and it became the Chartered Institute of Building. And so those people who went to study building in the UK were the ones that came back to form the Nigerian chapter of the Institute of Building. And that happened in 1967. So you need to do a study of the course that is called building. And after the study, we also, like every professional course, is not just building. All the built environment, in fact, the processes of becoming a licensed practitioner is the same. You will have a period of tutelage after your university education, usually 3 years, including your NYSC. And then you write examinations, professional examinations. When you pass, we also have a council. In our own case, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, they are the ones that will license you to be a chartered builder. But of course, we work as a team. The site, which is the factory for producing buildings, cannot work alone with builders. For every builder, you need masons, you need carpenters, you need technicians, and you need different kinds of support team to be able to produce buildings.
Okay, assuming somebody goes to the Polytechnic and earns a diploma,
yes,
what would he become? Is he qualified to also write the exam to become a corporate member, or he cannot be until he goes to the level of a HND and also pass through that exams?
Well, there are different pathways. If you have an OND, we expect that you go for HND. Otherwise, with OND, you register at the technologist cadre. But if you do a HND, you can become a graduate member after the relevant examinations have been written and passed. So everybody has a pathway. If you are a mason or a carpenter, you want to register, you should register with the Nigerian Institute of Building. We have an artisan and craftsman cadre of registration. You'll be a member of the institute. So this is the setup in the building sector.
I do know that for every organization, professional body, for each year, if there's an activity or a period of activity, you have a theme. And one of your theme this year, which is of interest to me, is cement and concrete, advances in research and applications. What informed that theme?
Well, for so many years now, we have been rotating our conferences around all kinds of issues that affect the building of houses. In the last 2 years, my tenure as president, I have deliberately championed cause of advocacy, workshop and seminar interventions in the issue of housing provision in Nigeria. And at the close of the tenure, as we are about to now witness next week, we have seen that a good where the points to also round up is looking at cement and concrete, because for us in the construction sector, we know the primary importance of this particular product. If you go to the layman and ask about inputs to housing, the first problem is cement prices. Then it is the primary material of construction of housing. Now availability, now advances in research and applications. Now as professionals, we have to also deal with the issues of reviewing the state of the arts in terms of how we have managed this important product, and then also what could be the future of the product in our home construction, in our housing construction efforts. And therefore, the National Council thought we cannot talk about all the materials, but we can look at cement and then deploy all the expertise and the resources in terms of research, peer review applications, and so on and so forth. We do not have time, but the value chain of cement production and application is so wide, it's so very wide. And so the conference will deliberate on all of this and make appropriate recommendations.
Well, Nigerians are beginning to, we're seeing some companies and some in the government also deploying cement and concrete in the particularly road construction as alternative to bitumen and the rest of them. How important, what is your assessment of that so far? Perhaps could it have informed your professional body's thinking to also holistically look at this? So that I was going through the dailies recently, and some people are saying in some states, oh, that experiment is already failing, and all of these things. Perhaps is that why you are looking at that cement and concrete?
Well, everything about cement and concrete will be on the table for discussions and deliberations. The major cement manufacturers will be here in Jos. We have assurances Dangote will be here, because when you talk about use of cement for pavements, we know that they are the pioneers of that experimentation. Technically speaking, is not new. You could do pavements with cement, and it could last for as long as the design strength and the durability design could permit it to. And so when you have a conference of this nature, you are not only looking at the success stories of the industry, but you are also looking at the challenges. The people are saying it has started failing somewhere. Who will be asking questions? Dangote themselves will be here to do their display, product display, and they will have a chance to also speak to builders on what they are doing as a major manufacturer. We have assurance that Ashaka will also be here. We have been speaking with Boa, and we hope that the key stakeholders in the cement industry will be here to talk about not only the success of what they have been doing with that product, but also the challenges that we have to look at.
Yeah, but do you see that as a good alternative, the concrete and cement, in deploying it to infrastructural development, not just housing?
Whether we like it or not, there are a lot of concerns about the sustainable goals in terms of trying to reduce carbon emission. And whether we like it or not, the sustainable goals also speak to issues about pricing, cost, affordability. Because if you say as an alternative, we'll now be talking about how best does it suit the cost metrics in terms of availability and affordability. So many things can go on in a discussion of that nature, but we cannot be context specific because we don't have data on project by project basis. But generally, we have also noted the attempts by research organizations, universities, to say that what can we also do to bring down the cost of cement. For instance, incorporation of a group of constituents that we call pozzolanas that will reduce, the active ingredients in cement and bring down the cost. Now, production of cement generates a lot of, consumption of electricity, and then also in terms of the sustainable goals, we cannot be talking about more of cement, even though it is very, very inevitable. Last 2 weeks, we were in Abuja, the International Housing Show. People are now also recommending a return back to conventional materials. So if you go to housing, you have such materials as latritic blocks, which are doing so well. A lot of models that were presented of homes that were built with mud blocks, as layman will call it, latritic blocks, with only a little percentage of cement, and then they are standing and then they are functioning optimally. So when you say cement as an alternative, it can only be discussed in context specific terms. What kind of projects, what are the strength requirements, and how does cement come to solve such problems?
Okay, so let's come back to the conference. We've talked about the theme, and looking at TINCITY 2022. You are the president, former vice chancellor of Plateau State University, and then this is your home. This is a conference taking place in your home. How significant is that to you?
Well, it's been long in coming, and I really want to thank the National Council of the Institute for honoring not just my tenure of my passing, by approving that the conference should be hosted in my home state. Also, I'm very excited that Nigerian builders will be here after, I think, more than 20 years. The last time they were in Jos was more than 20 years ago. And so I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to a very good meeting. All arrangements have been put in place to receive builders from all over the country. And so this is very huge for me. It's a good place to retire from the institute, even though I will still be in the council as the immediate past president. But I think it's a very good place to take a break from the council of the institute. I'm very delighted about this.
Okay, so you've held it in different states, and perhaps there's no one fit all standard. But
yes.
You've seen it. The last one in Akure, and Abuja, your inauguration, Akure, and other places. Are you losing sleep?
Not at all. This is something we do every year, and the template has remained the same. The environment, of course, will be different. Yes, you mentioned Akure last year, and it was very exciting. And the chief host, Governor Akere Dolu, and the entire team in the state warmly welcomed us. You remember the dome. The venue was also very conducive. In fact, the entire Southwest gave strategic support to the success of that program. We are partnering also here in Jos with neighboring states, Bauchi, Benue State, and we are hoping that we'll give Akure also a run for their money. I think Jos ought to be better because the president is here, and already we warned them about the climate. Many of them are looking forward to the cold weather of Jos, and many of our good waters that are here. And so the stage is set for a very wonderful meeting, and we hope that it will be a success.
What networking are you doing in terms of reaching out to Plateau people, reaching out to government to come and say, people are coming, they're going to spend their money here. They're coming to also see for themselves what Plateau is. To what extent have you reached out?
Well, about 3 weeks, a month ago, I think you remember that there was a pre-conference visit to the #1 citizen of the state. We want to thank His Excellency Dr. Caleb Mutfon for granting us a very wonderful audience and assuring us that the state is ready to receive us. We do this everywhere we go. The governor has to allow you to come and to do anything, whatever it is in the state. And so if you are talking of networking, we have gone as far as getting assurance of the #1 citizen that this conference is going to be supported by the government of Plateau State. Of course, we have reached out to traditional rulers. We have reached out to stakeholders. Many of the people that will play different roles are people that are around Plateau State. We look, for instance, at the keynote speaker, Professor Slim Matawa, for instance, the former Director General of NIBRI, Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, who is a long-standing professor of civil engineering, will be speaking to the general team of cement and concrete research in Nigeria. And he brings a lot of experience, having headed the Pioneer Research Building Research Institute in Nigeria. He has seen it all, and I think that we are also proud that Plateau is showcasing such a professor and also going to listen to him speak to the entire nation on a very important topic. The chairman of the occasion, by the grace of God, will be a former secretary to government of Plateau State and the head of the Just Business School. You know that in the Ezekiel Gomos anywhere, it's a very good person to chair the program. And so we are networking. Between now and Monday, we are seeing more people. We are talking to now, we have new commissioners in Plateau State. We are reaching out to the Ministry of Urban Planning, Urban Development and Housing, because that is the key ministry with whom builders interact and work with. The academia is giving support, and everybody, I think, is supporting the success of the program this week.
We can't finish without taking a look at the 2022 theme, curbing the menace of building collapse in Nigeria and appraisal of the salient issues. And I remember after then, this year also, the World Builders Day.
Yes.
It has not abated. What are those salient issues? Is it issue of development control, or what is actually the matter? Because after having these conversations, we expect that regulatory authorities step in to leverage on the information you have passed, and we see a reduction in that, the loss of human lives and loss of resources in terms of collapses.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing up this matter again, because it's in line with what we have been doing in the last 2 years, intensifying the advocacy. You know, in fact, last year, you remember, we were also at the National Assembly, where we had the privilege of discussing the Senate Committee on Housing to talk about this menace of building collapse and how we thought that, you know, the country should be addressing it. Our perspective as builders in this country is that a major problem that will need to be resolved is the problem of the framework of building production itself and the deficits in the regulatory framework. Regulations are in short supply, and where they are even there, implementation of the regulations are not being adhered to. But our advocacy has not been in vain. I can tell you that we have not less than 16, 17 states as of today that have one form of integrity framework for building production. In the southeast, we can talk about the efforts in Imo State, the Owerri Capital Development Authority, very strong discussions to ensure that.
The governor spoke about JNDB having an archaic law in 1975 or thereabout.
Yes.
Are you excited about that development?
Yes, I'm a little bit worried also, being here that Plateau seems to be lagging behind in terms of reforms of the regulatory framework. In our pre-conference visit to the governor, he spoke about the archaic laws on which key organizations like GMDB are operating. So I cannot be excited that we have not gotten to that stage where we can now, in line with global best practices. I have mentioned that about 17 states already, they have new urban laws that speak to events, not just development control, but building control. Development control is different from building control. Because if you control the siting of projects, then how do you control the events that happen on the building project site itself? So these two now have to find very clear expression in new urban laws that speak to the current urban challenges. And so we hope that we'll continue to push, and with the kinds of comments that Number One Citizen has made, I'm sure that we'll pick it up from there with the Commissioner for Urban Development and Housing, and ensure that the House of Assembly does the needful in terms of also mainstreaming Plateau State in the Committee of States that will now parade new urban development laws that will address not just building collapse, but other urbanization challenges.
Urban renewal and the rest of
urban renewal, yes.
Before we wrap up, sir, we're looking at artisans and craftsmen. You brought them all on board. How far is the journey, that move?
Well, the journey has been fantastic. A builder is nothing on a site without his artisans and craftsmen. These are our foot soldiers. And in Akure, we have launched our ASEMA, Artisans and Craftsmen Empowerment Association. I'm happy to note that in virtually all the states of the Federation, we have one form of association or the other of craftsmen and artisans working with the Institute of Building to give Nigeria a building industry that has integrity. It will not be different in Jos. As a matter of fact, they are also holding their national elections during this conference. We've had a caretaker committee has run for 1 year now, but the full-blown election will be held. And so, as we are making progress, our foot soldiers are also making progress to organize and associate and make sure they also have a voice. Remember that the Nigerian Institute of Building is the awarding body in the National Skills Qualification Framework. And in the last 2 years, we have certified over 20,000. Anybody who goes through Empower training will have to need the certificate of the institute. And different training centers have invited us as quality assurance managers, as assessors, to carry out certification, which have been approved by the council. And so it's a holistic movement. Professionals, the artisans, their technologies. And this is the kind of thing that will give the industry the professional content and the focus and the vision that will drive development in this country.
So finally, we're looking at TINCITY 2022, 56 years of the Institute. What would you be telling Plateau people? You are the president, you'll be standing down, and what kind of support and ovation you would want it to end with in Plateau State as your tenure? It's ending at home, not elsewhere.
Yes. Well, I can only hope that Plateau State will join us to give Nigerians that are coming a very warm reception, as we have always done. We have a lot of things that will be on display that will market the rich cultural and tourism potentials of the state. You know, even the menu we are going to serve in TINCITY 2023, Acha will be on display. We have Mr. Fish, Dr. Fish, will be on display. And this will be the very first time. We are providing opportunities for also mountain climbing, hiking, and all kinds of extracurricular, because this will display Plateau State and the richness of what we have here to Nigerians who are coming. So we will hope for a very robust reception. We hope that at the end of each all, again, Plateau State will be proud that this is not the first time that we have produced presidents of the Institute. I remember many years ago, we had Dr. Dachelon Jumbo, who was also president of the Institute. But we are now upping the game because many years ago, the strength of the Institute was not as it is today. Just 2 years ago, membership growth has risen by over 2,000 because of the increased momentum that we have brought in the membership committee. And so we need to be all out, bring out our best drums, our best costumes, our best foods, our best hospitality, and everything. The hotels, we are talking with major hotels to be hosting people, and I'm sure that at the end of it all, we'll have cause to say thank you to God for helping us.
Thank you very much, sir. We wish you and the Institute success. As Plateau people also, you need to come out and give the support. It's a time now that people need to see Plateau for what it is. Hospitality and the home of tourism. We have to live up to the name. I've been having a conversation with Builder Professor Johanna Exam, President Nigeria Institute of Building, and also former Vice Chancellor of Plateau State University. Thank you once more, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'm your host, Yakubu Tali. Next week we'll be here with another interesting personality. Thanks for watching.